getting warmed up.
Yeah. So I'm afraid just sitting and waiting and staring like a washed pot is just going to make you, lose focus. It's good to hit the ground running.
All right, we're going live. I'm live. Now, we've got about 2 minutes before we actually officially start things, but I'm just saying hello to everybody who has logged on. We're up to 5. And I know that one of you is my lovely and talented wife. Hi, sweetie. But thank you for the other 4 of you for logging in and joining me this Friday night. These are a lot of fun for us, so thank you. Oh, author Joy Thayer. Joy Thayer. That's a great name. I just enjoy saying that. Author Joy... Colleen! Hey, you're on! Colleen! Author, Colleen's here. Isn't that great? Colleen, author Joy Thayer is here. Isn't that great? That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to post my little message. It wouldn't let me post my message before. At least, no, you know what? It's not letting me post my little message. Oh well, I tried to post a little message in my pop-out chat, and that did not work. Anyway, in just a minute, we're going to start things up. So I'm going to switch things over to our intro music, and then we're going to get going, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be pretty good. It's going to be okay. Hello, this is Clay Carlino. Thank you for joining me on this Friday night, where we are here to have just a plain old live stream. Actually, it's more of an old plain live stream because we're talking about old transforming planes. You see what I did there? That's it's instead of plain old, which means that it's ordinary. Okay, we're talking about old planes. It's I'm sorry. I apologize. I feel bad for that joke, and I won't make. Thank you. I feel better, actually, with that. No, so one of the things that I've noticed that's been kind of a rarity in transforming robot toys is planes. You see lots of jets, but you don't see a lot of planes. And so I thought that we could go through some of the plane toys and kind of highlight probably the best known transforming plane toy, Powerglide. Yes, we got Powerglide here, and that's a perfect opportunity to turn on the super close cam, which the lens is fighting me. There we go. Super close cam engaged, and this is... Thank you. So this is original Gen 1 Powerglide, and you can see that it's even still got the rub sign. The rub sign doesn't really work all that well anymore, and for some reason it's oh, thank you, Collini. Collini sent us a jet. So okay, wait, the rub sign does work. Holy crap, look at that. Now I don't know why it's upside down. Like, even in plane mode, let's go back here. So, even in plane mode, it just feels like that's upside down. I guess they couldn't see what symbol it was when they were putting it on. No, that's not true. That doesn't even make sense. I apologize. That was another terrible joke. So, okay, so yeah, there it is. And going back to the super close, you can see that, you know, I feel like it's facing the wrong way, but, you know, this is Powerglide, and he, like many of the mini cars on the early waves of Transformers, was kind of a super deformed character. He had a really neat transform, though. I always really liked that he did this cool wing thing, and then that went up beside his body, and you rotate the head around, and it was always a shame that the head was still on the underside, but you got that on a lot of toys. So yeah, and then the jets become the arms, and yeah, see, hey, Nathan Fillion is here. Hello, Mr. Fillion. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, is Quentin here too? Quentin! Hey, Quentin! Great to see you. Thank you for stopping by for yet another one of these beginning of the weekend live streams that thank you. So yeah, now he has very long arms. You know, like he can touch his knees without bending over, which is actually okay, because he can't bend over. So that, I guess that's good. If he gets itchy knees, then it's no problem, because he's like, hey, I'm Powerglide, I can scratch my knees. And yeah. And
well, your mouth did.
Well, your mouth better get over there and make Torvald happy.
Phrasing.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, we're not going into anywhere else that he can touch with his hands. So there we go. That is Gen 1 Powerglide. You know what? They actually did make Transformers. Mr. Fillion, they did make Transformers that turned into tigers. Tigratron, Cheetor. You need to check out the Beast Wars line. It is fantastic. And at some point, we will be talking about Beast Wars on these live streams. So, anyway, yeah, so, Leo Convoy. Yeah, he was a lion. Now, granted, a lion is not a tiger, but it's in the big cat family. So yeah, anyway, Powerglide, you know, I feel like that's a little bit of an oxymoron, because if you're gliding, doesn't that imply that you're not using power? But, I don't know. His name is, at best, the brand name of a men's underarm deodorant, and at worst, the name of a personal lubricant. And I'm going to leave that right there. Yeah, just think about it. Powerglide. I kind of wish I had some sexy music right now. Boom, chicka, boom, boom, boom. Powerglide for your most intimate moments. So there's not a whole lot more to say about Gen 1 Powerglide, except that Powerglide didn't get a whole lot of love until much later in the Transformers lines, and you know, I thought that before we go on to some of those, we would compare him to the competition. So now, probably the most direct competition that he would have had would have been this guy, and with the unfortunate name of Bad Boy. What were you thinking? Bad Boy? What? I mean, who, for a robot from another planet? I'm sorry. I know, we know. Gobot names are crap. I need to move on. But Bad Boy? That sounds like a naughty nickname that you'd give your lover when he's using Powerglide. So, thank you. Did you see how I brought that back? So, anyway, this is Bad Boy. He actually looks pretty cool, with the exception that he doesn't seem to have hands. I can put my icon, which is a hand, over top of his engines, and maybe if he were larger, the propellers became fingers or something like that. But obviously this Gobot toy did not have hands. Still a nice robot form, you know. He's got nice body dynamics and a really, really nice vehicle mode. So that would probably be the biggest contender for the transforming A10 toy in 1984 or 85, whenever these things would have come out. So let's talk about another contender. This is Waterwalk. He is a Gobot. Yes, I know, we're all about Gobots here at the Carlino channel. We've got Waterwalk, and I'm going to put him on the super close cam so you can see his detail. He is a beautiful figure. I mean, you know, he is in great shape, first of all, which I love it when I have an old toy that is still in fantastic shape. But, thank you. A little late, but thank you. You know, his joints are still tight. I don't think that I've even done my glue trick on him. His paint is not chipped. Detail is great. Excuse me. Got a little bit of COVID-19, I think. Oh, Joy! Did you have Waterwalk when you were a kid? That's awesome! Because, you know, Waterwalk is a nice toy. Let me come back over to the normal cam. So, Waterwalk, one of the things that I love about Waterwalk is that he has one of the coolest transforms of any of the Gobots. It's just because it's kind of unexpected. So, and still very simple, but just unexpected in his detail. Yes, he did have the cool 80... The Gobot's future was so bright, they had to wear shades. See, it's funny because... Thank you. I love my audience. So yeah, now, the way that he works is you're going to put his arms up and then out like this. And then you have the wings, and see, the wings just meet up with the arms and click into them, just like that, to make the wings of the plane. Then you fold over this guy, but here you have to flip down the feet, and he gets these little supports that go into the nipples. And, you know, not enough Transformers use nipples in their transforms. So, you know, I really respect that this guy uses his nipples, and he's got innies instead of outies. You know, us humans, we have outie nipples, but Gobots, they have innie nipples. That's a little Gobot biology that I bet you never knew before. So, this is his plane mode, and it looks awesome. Just, I mean, you know, it's a water plane, obviously, and you know, again, the detail and the form of this thing, he just looks great. Let me put him on the super close. So there we go, and look at that. That is a beautiful toy. And you think about being able to get one of these for, you know, I think that back then they were what, like $3 or $4, maybe $3. You know, that was a great value. And honestly, okay, if I'm gonna look at this transforming robot plane versus this transforming robot plane, which is transforming right as we speak. I mean, you know, just forget about what you saw on TV and which one had the better show, because I don't even know if this guy got any screen time. I don't remember him from the Gobots show because I didn't really get much past the original thing. So we got Waterwalk. Just so that you know, we got Waterwalk not very long ago at a place here in Pittsburgh called D&E Collectibles. It's a vintage toy store. Is that in? It's near Etna. It's what is that? What is that area? Freeport Road, and not quite as far north as the Waterworks, whatever that area is on Freeport Road. That's not quite the Waterworks, but fantastic toy store, and no, they are not paying me to say nice things about them. But if you guys ever want to float me like a coupon or something, well, I'll take it because you're awesome. I guess I'm not leveraging myself. I won't say anything else nice about you unless I get a 5% off coupon. Yeah, that's hard negotiating. Anyway, so amazingly enough, he was in the $2 discount bin. Now, their $2 discount bin is usually filled with broken crap. I kind of feel like this was a mistake. But he was in there, we took him up, it's like, and they're like, yeah, no. I don't think that they recognized how awesome he was. So it must have been the new guy working. I don't know if they have a new guy. I just assume that every place has a new guy. There's always a new guy. So yeah, the new guy sold it to us for $2, but still, they have a lot of cool stuff that you can get for some very reasonable prices. So anyway, so if I was, you look at these and they probably would have been for very similar price points. In fact, depending on the year, Powerglide might have been a little bit more. And honestly, I mean, let's be honest, which toy is cooler? Which toy looks more like a real plane, and which toy looks like a robot? This guy's got die-cast metal. Poor Powerglide is all plastic. So yeah, I guess the rivets aren't plastic. He's got some rivets and some screws that aren't plastic for those who are detail oriented. But an IPA for the Autobots and a dark stout for the Decepticons. I have my normal Friday evening beverage, which is Wink and Nod brand apple juice. See what I did there? Yeah. In my little skull glass, which we got. Just as a side note, we got this for free when what city were we in? Ohio? No, we were. Well, Ohio's not a city. Columbus. Okay, so that's what that. Okay, yes, I understand what was going on. I was getting hand signals of this, and it's like, is it round? Is that like for Ohio? It's C for Columbus. We were in Columbus. It was probably after TrotCon, and we had been vending. I think that this was after this was Saturday night. So we'd already been vending for 2 days. Sunday was usually the day that we would go back. And so after the vending hall closed, we went out to this restaurant movie theater. You go in, you see the movie, and you order food, and they serve you the food, and you get to watch the movie. And we saw the 2016 Ghostbusters, which I love. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I'm being a maverick on the internet because I'm a guy nerd, and I loved the 2016 Ghostbusters. And they had this thing where if you got a serving of Crystal Skull, or was it the Crystal Skull? Yeah, then they would give it to you in a Crystal Skull glass. So of course, Pixel did have to get the Crystal Skull, because Crystal Skull. Yeah. So we did that, and I'm sure that's the most economical way to get a Crystal Skull shot glass. But nonetheless, it's pretty awesome, and I loved the movie, and we had so much fun, and it was such a good convention. And by the time that Saturday is done, then for us, that's I'm sure there's still Sunday morning, but the convention, it's all downhill from there. And so we were really enjoying kind of being able to relax, enjoy a movie, have some Crystal Skull, and apple juice. So, AJ Stinson. AJ, hey, good to see you, and welcome to Ohio. Thank you for joining us all the way from Ohio. So, I'm glad that I got to give some love to Ohio, because we always have a good time in Columbus, and everybody at that convention is fantastic. So, thank you so much. Anyway, I'm just saying, this is another one that I'm going to put down as Gobots did it better. I realize that a lot, it's in some ways it's unfair to keep comparing to the mini car toys, because they were all super deformed, and they were all relatively cheap in their construction and very simple. But I think that this is a fair comparison. This is what the price points would have given you an option of: plane A, plane B. And yeah, this guy was on the winning team, but this guy was a star player. So that's Waterwalk. Excellent toy, in excellent condition. Just love him, and he's a prize of my collection. So, yes, Ohio for the win! Woo! So, putting those aside, as I was saying, Powerglide didn't get a whole lot of love for quite a long time. This one probably would have been released in 1985, and then we did not get a new Powerglide until 2008. And that is this one. This is a new version of Powerglide, and as you see, he's been eating his Wheaties. He got the full treatment. He's got a sound box in here, and just a plethora of guns and things, and really neat toy. But I'm not going to show you transforming this one, because a few months after this one came out, they came out with a Walmart exclusive that was this one. That was good. Very nice. Nicely done. So, this is the Walmart exclusive Powerglide, done in the Gen 1 colors. Those bastards. They knew that if they had released this first, I wasn't buying this one. And it's not that this one isn't great, but come on, it's Powerglide. He's red. He's not off-white. He's red with some gray bits. And this guy is actually really cool looking. Actually pulling him out now, I think I like him better now than I did when I bought him. But when I saw that they had this, that was it. That was it. I had to get the show, the one. Well, it's not exactly show accurate, but the more show accurate one. And so this is Powerglide, and oh, thank you. I've got more. I got some more apple juice, so that's important. And Tech Rat! Hey, Tech Rat! Tech Rat's here! Hi, Tech Rat! So, oh. That's not the honey whiskey, that's, the honey apple juice. I don't know why I said, what was that other thing I said? I don't know. I didn't say anything like that. It's apple juice. So, this is apple juice from Scotland. So, this is the Scottish apple juice. I kind of sipped it as though it were the honey apple juice. And with the Scottish apple juice, you should, get a little bit in your palate, take a chance to get the aroma and let the vapors fill your mouth, and kind of, it's a whole experience. So nonetheless. That's good apple juice. So, yeah. So, anyway, this is the Walmart exclusive Powerglide done in the Gen 1 colors, and I will show you the transform. But wait, before I do that, he's got a lot of features. He has... Oh, yeah, I guess if you hold that down, it just keeps doing it. So, he's got sounds, and he's got flashing lights. This was great. So, for those of you who remember the Gen 1 cartoon episode called The Girl Who Loved Powerglide, was that what it was called? It ends with Powerglide opening his chest plate, and there's a flashing heart in there. Powerglide loved the human woman, and oh, wasn't that sweet? And when I was a kid, I hated that. But nonetheless, they molded in. We're gonna need the super close. Here we go, super close. Right here, if you can see it, they molded in the heart behind his chest plate. Look at that. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that nerds like me just, even if I hated it when I was a kid, I love that feature. And see, this was at a time, he was from the Transformers Universe line, which was sort of, oh, Grayscale's here! Hi, Grayscale! Awesome! I'm so glad to see Grayscale. Thank you. And hey, we're up to 11 viewers. I think I should celebrate with a slow drink of apple juice. So, this was sort of of all the souls, his was the most human. It was either that or saying that the ship cannot stand the strain, Captain. So this was 2008. This was part of the Transformers Universe line. I want to say that this was really before they started really embracing their Gen 1 fans. There had been a lot of homages done up to that point, but only here and there put into their regular product lines. And I don't think that they were doing the classics line yet. But I feel like this was kind of a turning point for the Transformers, because this was right at that point where they, this might have even been kind of a test to see how modern day toy buyers would respond to straight up rehashes of Gen 1 characters, except done with the, at the time, modern toy making techniques. So they can take our lives, but they could never take our apple juice. Thank you, Tech Rat, for that. So yeah, he had that, and I think I see now why it is that I took the batteries out of this thing years ago. So let's just go ahead and do the transform. We're going to turn the head around and fold it back like that. We're going to fold the wings down. We're going to slide the fists in, and the landing gear is going to slide back with that, which is kind of nice. You can, just do that, and the fist goes in. So, out and in, and then that this is going to end up on the bottom of the wing, because this is where the landing gear is. I'm going to fold those out of the way. we're gonna flip this around. Thank you, Powerglide, for making noises. Oh, there it is! Oh, wait. Nope, it's not doing it now. There we go. So, yeah, it makes transform noises, which is awesome. So with the feet, we're going to flip the feet forward. We're going to turn them sideways. We're going to put them together like this. And then... You sound very confused, Powerglide. Really, I think you're getting some mixed signals here. I'm going to flip that up. Thank you. And straighten out the tail. And then... his pelvis has to twist. He's got the clickies and the clackies, just like my keyboard, Mr. Fillion. And, oh yeah, Tech Rat, you know what? When, during the Energon line, when they're putting sound boxes into all of their larger toys, they suddenly realized that having the transform noise was important. And so we got a lot of sound boxes that actually did have the transform noise. And I'm a sucker. I will take the transform noise every single time you give it to me. You know, I didn't like some of the big blocky toys whose designs suffered because they had to fit the big electronic box in there. But having the noise, I mean, you know, I loved that. So, you know, I guess you win some, you lose some. Anyway, so we turn these around like this, fold this around like that, and there we go. And then the getting the arms right is a little fidgety. Okay, so here's what you need to look for when you're trying to figure out how these things go. You'll always find conspicuous little slots in arms and legs and wings and things like that. So you always look for the post that's going to fit in that slot. And in this case, the post is right there. So we just snap that into there, and then that wing is correct. And then this one... going to fold up like this, and we're just going to do the same thing. And then if you want to feel like it's completely transformed, you can pull out the landing gear. I always appreciate when they give me landing gear. So many aircraft vehicles don't, you know, they just kind of ignore the landing gear, and so it's nice when they actually give it to us. So you know, we've got Powerglide here, and he looks great. He's a big toy. You know. So, yeah, he makes jet noises, and as you heard, he makes the transform noise when you transform him. So, you know. There we go. So, yeah, that is 2008 Powerglide, and he really is a fantastic toy. I love this toy. Up to 11 viewers? Oh, is that... I see it. 12 viewers! Woo! Woo, 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 woo. I know, nobody does that anymore, but I'm old. I can get away with it because I'm old. So that's Powerglide, 2008 Powerglide, and it seems like, how can you go better than this? Well, let me tell you how. Let's do well, actually, okay. Let's backtrack a little bit, because the next one isn't necessarily better. It's different. This one came out around the time of, I think, Dark of the Moon, the Bayformer movie, and it didn't appear in the movie. The best toys to come out of those lines were the ones that were not movie characters. Traditionally the movie characters suffered from having really ugly movie designs to begin with, and transforms that didn't really work in the real world, and then they made ugly toys. So yeah, they did have some good toys that came out during those lines, but it was almost never the characters that you saw in the movies. I will say that the second movie, Optimus Prime, was a really good toy. And the first movie, Optimus Prime, was actually a very good toy, but the one from the second movie was in every way as good and better. So, I will give them credit for doing that right, but those movies were so yes. Well, okay, you also got it, and that was from the third one, right? Hobo Megatron, which is the only Megatron from any of those movies that I liked. Every other one was just like a mishmash of jaggedy shapes with no personality whatsoever. The one that had the cloak and he turned into a tanker truck, that one was actually pretty cool. I really liked him. So, oh, hi, Hopi! Hopi joined us, everybody! Say hi to Hope! Hi, Hope! Yes, Optimus Prime. Yeah, very good for remembering that Optimus Prime is Orion Pax. Hopi is actually kind of paying attention when I yammer on and on. So we've got here. It's important that this is here because it kind of harkens to his canon things. So this is actually the Megatron from the third movie, and he's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and show him on the super close. So yeah, he's got he's got this cloak here, and very actually a pretty dynamic guy. Lots of detail, and let me go ahead and pull this off so you can see the sculpt of the toy. There. So now obviously it's still the ugly movie style Megatron, but his body dynamics were really pretty awesome. Yeah, okay, good. I was hoping that I didn't have to transform him because he takes a long time to transform. He is challenging. I can do it, but you don't want to watch it. You really don't. But anyway, nonetheless, I really like this version of Megatron. He's not exactly Megatron to me, but he is by far the most interesting incarnation that came out of that awful franchise. Awful franchise. Terrible. Quentin, I have to disagree with you. It didn't have a bad story because to say it did implies that there was a story. So, we'll put Megatron aside here. This, let's go back to the super close. This is Dark of the Moon Powerglide. And you can see that he unfortunately does suffer a little bit from the spaghetti face. Yeah, there, we got him in focus. I mean, it's a great sculpt and a very interesting body. He's got some nice detail on him. But certainly he is done in that movie style, which means that things are a little bit more complicated than they needed to be, and lots of little spindly parts with jaggedy mishmashy looking parts. That was the earmark of the Bayformer style. And I'm gonna do a quick transform here. And yeah, this is something, and I remember when I was going to school and when Pixel was going to school, they talked about this in character design. Character design, when you want to create a good character model in a video game or in a movie, you need to think about the silhouette of the character. If you were to black out everything and you just see the outline of that character, then is it distinctive? And how does it make you feel? The movie Transformers have no distinctive silhouette. They're all just these squiggly, zigzaggy things with parts sticking out. They really don't have silhouettes that are memorable or distinctive. But you show the silhouette of Gen 1 Megatron with that iconic fusion cannon and the sweeping legs that flared out towards the bottoms and the high shoulders. You knew unmistakably who that character was. When you looked at the silhouettes of the Seekers, okay, sure, all of their silhouettes were identical, but there was no mistaking the silhouette of a Seeker. Optimus Prime with his smokestacks and his broad shoulders and then the wheels on his legs, everything about it, all of these characters are ones that you don't need to see the entire character to know who it is. You could draw it with an outline and anybody that's familiar with those characters would be like, bam, I know who that is. And more importantly, they would feel something. They would feel a presence of, when they see that dynamic figure with the blunted smokestacks and the heroic stance. This is a protector figure. When they see the more angular Megatron silhouette with the big threatening cannon, he is very obviously dangerous. And that's something that was completely lost in the Transformers, in the Bayformer movies. I'm eagerly looking forward to them moving past that embarrassing, horrible period in entertainment history. So, anyway, 13 viewers, woohoo! Apple juice. Okay, thank you. If I have too much more apple juice, I won't be able to transform this Bayformer. Yeah, you kind of mess with the arms until they do what you want them to. And then you put the little tabs into the little slots. I did say slots. And there we go. Now, and you know what? They even gave us landing gear. Look, that's actually pretty cool. He is a tiny figure with tiny details, but you know what? They did make an excellent vehicle mode, and he looks really good here. Nice dynamics. Let's go ahead and get him on the super close. So, yeah, look at that. I mean, for such a tiny figure, he's got excellent detail. Look at the lines on the plane. Look, they've got the rivets in the fuselage. Did I say that right? Fuselage? There's the landing gear. Yeah, this is, of course, Powerglide is an A-10 Thunderbolt Warthog, Thunderbolt 2 Warthog, and this is essentially a flying tank. These bombers they were well, they weren't really bombers, but they had guns, they had missiles, they had armor. They came in slow and they destroyed everything in their path. And that's why other a wide spectrum multi-purpose aircraft. Thank you. See, my lovely and talented assistant was in the Air Force, so I need to get this stuff right, and I'm doing a piss poor job of doing it. So she's given me notes on the big screen here to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, and the truth is I don't, but she does. So that's almost as good as me knowing it. Almost, right? Anyway, so there were other toys of the time that you're probably familiar with based off of this military vehicle. Yeah, special guest star, the Cobra Rattler. This is Monica's Cobra Rattler, and this is just such a neat toy. Look at all the guns. Look at all the missiles. You know, it's got the opening canopy. I mean, the G.I. Joe toys were just awesome. And I didn't collect G.I. Joe when I was a kid because I kind of had to make a choice, and it was Transformers. That was it. You know, I would get Gobots, I would get Transformers, but I didn't collect G.I. Joe, which is a bit of a shame because, you know, amazing toys, but you know what? The vehicles take up a lot more space, so I guess I feel like I might have chosen wisely. Also, you know, Transformers have managed to maintain themselves in a way that G.I. Joe has struggled to. So yeah. Oh, Setsune! Is it Setsune? Setsune! Welcome! I think I pronounced it right. 3 cheers for E! This will make sure that I don't pronounce anything right for the rest of the evening. Thank you. So, yeah, and if you remember, the Cobra Rattler also had the vertical takeoff feature, which was not in the A10, but it made for a great gimmick on the toy. And so, you know, the jets are blowing down here, and then, and so that's the Cobra Rattler, which was not lost on Hasbro in 2015, this was before 2011, I think, when this Powerglide was made. So let's go to the super close. This is, I think that it's 2011 Powerglide. Great detail, you know, and great, you know, this. Oh no, you're right. This is 2015 Powerglide. This is Combiner Wars Powerglide, and you know, he is straight up Gen 1. You know, at this point, they have not reimagined the wheel. They have just taken what was in our minds when we watched the cartoon and turned it into a fantastic looking robot. Even though he's small, his body dynamics are great. You know, he just looks awesome. And you know, I can transform him. He's not hard to transform. You rotate the face, which is nice that you don't have to stare at his face anymore when he's flying. And once again, you know, they know what's important with the transform of the character in the same way that Optimus Prime, you know, many versions of Optimus Prime have him closing his arms around his side, because that's part of what we associate with that character and that toy. With Powerglide, they know that you need to rotate the wings and have the arms attached to the undersides of the wings. That's just sort of part of who he is, and it doesn't mean that if he doesn't do that, then he doesn't count, but it really does fill that nostalgia need, that it scratches that itch. And honestly, if it makes me, it kind of makes me want, like I wish that this is the toy that they had back when Transformers, back in 1985. So also, here's something that you don't see in most Powerglides. You lift the cockpit and you pull the whole thing forward, and then this closes over the legs, which come together like this to make the body of the plane. And then you fold the tail out like this. And then the jets actually slide backwards. I think they slide backwards. Like that. Oh, maybe. It's a little sticky. Can we get it? So, there we go. This... So this is his vehicle mode. He does have landing gear under here. It's kind of hard to grab, but if you got fingernails, you can do it. So there he is. Oh, Matt White! Hey, Matt White, thanks for joining us. Everybody say hi to Matt. Hello, Matt. Thank you for coming to join us here on a Friday night. We're talking about Powerglide. And no, that's not a personal lubricant. See, I promised not to make that joke twice, and I just did. I'm sorry. So anyway, so this is the vehicle mode, and it looks good. I'm not a big fan of how the color changes at the legs here. I feel like that's a little distracting. I kind of, like a paint deco maybe, because it looks good in the robot mode when the tops of the legs are a different color. That way he's not just monochrome. But I feel like for the plane, it just breaks it up a little bit in a way that I don't really prefer. But nonetheless, because he's a Combiner Wars character, he is also capable of transforming into a gun of sorts. So you do, I believe that this is the gun mode, and the Combiner Wars character would be able to hold it like this. What I would do is I always made him part of my Aerial Bots team. Oh, thank you. So this is Combiner Wars Superion. And if only Gen 1 Superion had been even a fraction of as cool as this guy is. He's awesome. And, I love the whole Combiners War line, and I bought the living crap out of that line. I bought the recolors. I must have like 5 different versions of the Alpha Bravo mold, because they just kept making new versions. No, I probably have 7 versions of the Alpha Bravo mold now that I think about it. And they put 2 in Victorion. Why did Victorion need 2 helicopters? Did she really need 1 helicopter? I don't know. They used it twice. And yet these guys never got repainted as the Decepticon Seekers. How do you not do that? Hasbro! Okay, wait, everybody get away from your screens for a moment. I'm talking to Hasbro. Hasbro, how do you not repaint these guys as the Decepticon Seekers? That's just printing money. Don't you want my money? I'll give it to you. You even made a Starscream body that is a combiner. He makes the body, and then you didn't make any Seekers to attach to him. What were you thinking? So, okay, everybody can get close to their screens again. I apologize, but, Hasbro needed to be told. So I would attach Powerglide here right to this conspicuous hole in the back, And you know what? It works. He actually looks good having a little Powerglide behind him. So, you know, now Powerglide should have always been in the aerial bots anyway. I mean, come on. He could fly rings around those losers. I'm sorry. You guys aren't losers. I'm talking about the whiny ones from the cartoons. So nonetheless, yeah, I would combine him with Superion here, and that was awesome. But see, here's what Hasbro did that was awesome. Oh, Matt White says that they did a Ghost Starscream repaint. I could never find that. I looked for repaints of the aerial bot molds as seekers, and I've seen pictures online, and I can't get them. I can't get them from AliExpress. I can't get them from eBay. So yeah. It's kind of disappointing because I would love to have those. I did do, I might as well just pull it out. Do you want to grab the Seeker Combiner? He's on the shelf. So, and those of you who have been watching my live streams for way too long, I know you all feel like you've been watching it way too long already. You see what I did there? It's kind of funny. You probably are aware that I did this, but in my desperation for aerial bot seekers, honey, yeah, he's. I did a little pet project. I ordered extra aerial bots from AliExpress, and so as you can see, I've now got the King Starscream Combiner, and I've got Thundercracker here, and Skywarp, and Dirge, and Thrust and Dirge. I've got some. These are actually Omega Supreme feet that I've hacked into, because as you remember from the Omega Supreme live stream, I did end up with some extra Omega Supreme parts. So yeah, and at some point I'm going to finish the work on these and make them match, and do. And I'd like to also incorporate Acid Storm into this somehow, but I haven't gotten there yet. Nonetheless, this is combined Starscream, and I really like him. I just love this thing, and I'm kind of glad that I did it. But it was a lot of work. And Hasbro, if you would have just made these guys, I wouldn't have bought knockoffs from AliExpress. So you lost money by not doing the obvious thing. So anyway, we'll set Starscream and the Seekers down. We'll just lay him down. He doesn't want to. So it looks like Joy wants to know about the Vectrex behind me. Oh, we can talk about the Vectrex. I love talking about the Vectrex. So, this, for those who don't know, this is a Vectrex. This is one of the greatest home video game systems ever created, and I never even knew about it growing up. It is a vector-based system. All of the games are vector games. So you remember the arcade Star Wars game, Okay, you know, games that were made up of lines, the original Asteroids. These are vector games. That's the kind of games that are played on the Vectrex. Now, sadly, there's not a really good version of Star Wars for this system. Somebody did perform, and they did an impressive job of creating a game called Starfire Spirits, and it's decent, but it just doesn't scratch the itch. It's just not quite there. Especially on the towers level, the perspective actually makes me nauseous. So, you know, and it's sad because I ordered that special and I was really looking forward to that, and it just didn't scratch the itch, and then I ended up buying the Star Wars arcade cabinet from Arcade 1-Up. So that's what happens. But yeah, this is it's a cartridge-based system, and I have a multi-cart in the side here, so like every Vectrex game that they ever made is on here, plus a whole bunch of homebrews. And the homebrew games are awesome. And every now and then I go back and I look to see, you know, what new games have come out, and I am happy to spend money for these talented people putting their work into these things, because it's fantastic. Also, the makers of the Vectrex made their games open, like public domain. So it's free and legal to use their stuff. It's free and legal. If there's somebody out there who wants a Kickstarter campaign to build a modern Vectrex, okay, just sign me up. Okay, I'll give you my credit card information. So, also, this was black and white. So in order to get color, what they did was they had these overlays that you would put on the screen, and it's actually the same thing that they did with the original arcade machine for Space Invaders. You know, Space Invaders wasn't in color. They had bands of color behind the screen in front of the cathode ray tube to make it look like there was color. So it was the same thing, and it's very hard to get games with the overlays. So what I did was I started making my own. I got cellophane and transparencies, and we would print on the transparencies, and then I'd put white label paper behind the parts that were supposed to be opaque, and yeah, these are my Vectrex transparencies that I use for different games to play Vectrex. And, you know, maybe sometime we'll do a live stream about playing the Vectrex, because that would be a lot of fun. I love the Vectrex. You know, it's... And, you know, it's funny because it's something that I never knew about when I was a kid, but once I discovered it, I fell in love with it. And if you ever have the opportunity, maybe you're at a video game convention and you see a Vectrex, play it. It's awesome. And if you ever have the opportunity to buy one at a good price, you know, if you like old video games and you like vector games, oh, you gotta have the Vectrex. And also, I'm just gonna throw this out. Classic Game Room. The YouTube channel, Classic Game Room. Mark, what is his name? Busler. Mark Busler has a ton of videos. Classic Game Room, I think, is the oldest, longest running internet-based video game review show on the internet. And Mark Busler, who is from here in Pittsburgh, by the way. So, you know, like, I could run into him. I probably won't, but it could happen. He has been doing these things for years, and he loves the Vectrex. And when I discovered the Vectrex at the Replay Effects convention that was in Pittsburgh, it comes around pretty much every year, right? And they had some old systems set up, and there was this Vectrex there, and I had never seen it before. And I sat down and I started playing it, and I just fell in love immediately. And then so I started looking things up online. I found the Classic Game Room videos, and he just loves the Vectrex, and it comes through in his videos, his passion for these games. And it was so much fun that then I just, I've watched hundreds of his videos at this point, and they're lots of fun, and he's got a great sense of humor, and he even sells books on Amazon. And no, he is not sponsoring me either, because he doesn't really need to. But he's not paying me to say nice things about him. But, I'm a big fan of the channel, and it's been very entertaining. And if you're a video game nerd, and especially if you like old school stuff, I mean, he does stuff. He'll review any video game. It doesn't matter whether it's old or new. But certainly for me as an old school fan, yeah, Classic Game Room. So, back... I had that a little off. Sorry. So, anyway, so at the same time that they did Combiner Wars Powerglide in 2015, they also did this guy. This is Viper. I think that we need the super close on this one. So, Viper is based off of the Cobra character. What was the pilot's name from the Rattler? Wild Weasel. Okay, so you see his face looks like. In fact, we've got Wild Weasel here. So here, wait, we'll just put these guys side by side. Yeah, so he's made to look like Wild Weasel, and he's got the Cobra Decepticon emblem, which is great, and then of course what's coming next. What's coming next. We transform him because he is just a slight retool of Powerglide. So when you transform him, see how much faster it is for me to transform these things after I've done one? It's like that old muscle memory gets back in there, and I start remembering how to do stuff. And there we go. So he becomes a Cobra Rattler. I love the Transformers Wiki article on this guy, because when you look at the picture of him, it says the entire G.I. Joe line for 2015. Oh, poor G.I. Joe. They've had a hard run of it. But I hear that they're coming out with some new figures soon, and might be 6-inch scale. I have also heard rumors that there might be a 3 3/4 inch scale line too, but I think that's unsubstantiated. So yeah, you finally have a Transformer Cobra Rattler, and this is okay. I'm talking to you again, Hasbro, because, and let me just throw out a criticism. I've tried emailing things to Hasbro, thoughts, suggestions, things like that. And they have a thing in their email for suggestions and ideas. And so you can select that as a heading. It's like, okay, I'll select that. And then I wait for 6 weeks, and the reply I get is, we don't accept suggestions or ideas from fans or individuals, or, this form letter about how they didn't even look at my email. Well, then just, what, if you're going to have that as one of the options, then maybe as soon as you click it, it just comes up with your message that says, screw you, we don't want your ideas. So, thank you for that. So, yeah, that's one, Hasbro. Here's the other one. Okay? Give us a Generations line of Transformers G.I. Joe. We want Transformers that turn into G.I. Joe and Cobra vehicles, and we want scaled down G.I. Joe figures that look like G.I. Joe, a real American hero. This stuff writes itself. You're printing money, okay? And, you know, people like me, we're getting old. If you wait too long to do this, we're going to start dying off. So do it now, while we're still alive. Please? Hello? So, Cobra Rattler, and by the way, just because of the way that he transforms, you actually can rotate the wings sideways. Now, this would, of course, make him plow himself into the ground, but, you know, you can just pretend. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of pretend here anyway, so let's just pretend that he's able to reverse the direction of his thrusters, because he's a Decepticon and he can do stuff. Yes. But, so, yeah, I have wanted Transformers, like G.I. Joe Transformers, for decades. And as you could see from my Starscream combiner, if Hasbro don't give it to me, I will find a way. This is my Transformer Cobra Rattler. This is a kit bash that I did. Thank you! Let's go ahead and do the super close here. So this is based off of a Classics Thundercracker, and then I bought a model for an A10 and took parts off of it so that I could get the engines and the wings. And you see it has the missiles, and it even has the gunner, the gunner, whatever that thing is, the little round cock. Is it really a cockpit? What is it? It's not a cockpit. It's a gunner seat, gunner pod. It's a gunner can, whatever it is. So yeah, this is my Cobra Rattler Transformer, and I used to have a name for him, and I don't remember what that name was. This guy's name is Venom. Or Viper. Yeah, it's Viper. I'm sorry, not Venom. That was the bad guys in Mask. Lots of snake references in children's cartoons in the 80s. So, this is the details were hand painted. You know, the red accents. Here, let me go back to the super close. So all these red accents around the cockpit were hand painted. The red accents on the engines were hand painted, and then the blue was sprayed probably with fusion. And of course he does transform, so we just take off the gunner's pod and the machine gun in the front, and then just like the classics, you pull the legs, flip out the feet. I always have to be careful with the ones that I've hand built, because, you know, they hand built, you know, that the model that I used, I found that the plastic was not the best plastic. I guess they intended it to just sit on a shelf. Who knew? And then you pull the back out, you fold the wings out right here, and fold these around like that, and then fold this out, and then fold this out. Actually, you can probably go like this, and then you pull out the arms, and then you flip out the wrists, or the fists right there, and do the same thing on the other side. Maybe if I can get my fingernail in there. And I always like to bend the elbows just a little bit, give them a little bit more of a natural pose. And then the body of the aircraft kind of breaks right there. And then this was always kind of a neat motion that you don't see in a lot of the Transformers toys. It spins around and goes down like that. And then you flip up the head like that and close it up. And then you position the wings. And you give him the machine gun on one shoulder and the gunner pod on the other shoulder, just like that. And that is my guy, and I don't remember what I named him. I don't know. I was thinking like maybe Rattlebite or something. I don't know. Snakebite. Maybe Snakebite. I don't know. So this is him, and let's go ahead and put him on the super close, since we've got a super close here. So this is him. I kind of went crazy with the red and the silver detail, but yeah, that's him. I also Envenomator. Wait a minute here. A toast to Envenomator. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I did before I had a girlfriend. That's not true. I had a girlfriend when I did. Was I married when I did this? Yeah, were we married? Yeah. So, you know, I have the best wife in the world. She puts up with this. So anyway, I also made it so that you could close, like you could always close this down here. But what I did was I made it so that you could grab the cockpit and open it up and make it like a helmet with a blast shield, because I thought that that would be cool. And so you can flip that down and he has a blast shield there. So did I eat Transformers cereal? I didn't. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that they did a Transformers cereal. Holy crap! Well, wait a minute. We have to show this online. Transformers cereal. And let's just look at this. So this is Transformers cereal. Look at that, chocolate flavored cereal. I guess you could somehow get jazz by eating Transformers cereal. Who knew? It would. I'm sure that it would transform my day. But that's all I got. That cereal is more than meets the eye. Thank you for that. So anyway, we're just gonna call this guy Snakebite for now, or Envenomator. Yeah, that's his name for now. I might not stick with that. So yeah. Now these are not the only planes that graced the Transformers catalog. We also saw a resurgence of planes right around the Cybertron era. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and get Skyshadow. Now, they also did this in green, and it was Jetfire. And if you look at the article, Skyshadow is actually Jetfire undercover, because the Decepticons would not notice if Jetfire just weren't around, but this guy that looks exactly like him, you know what? Actually, in the Transformers universe, I'm willing to buy it. There are far more absurd things that require suspension of disbelief than that Jetfire could be a double agent by painting himself purple and gold. Anyway, I love the color scheme on this, and I love this toy. I mean, look at that. That is such an awesome vehicle mode. He looks great. He has a planet key, which you plug. Now, that was the gimmick of the Cybertron line. You would plug in the planet keys, and then, you know, you fold this over, and it becomes like a gun, and then you plug in the planet key, and you know, it pops up. And I believe that there's a sound box in here, but I took out the batteries because, you know, as you heard with Powerglide, the sound boxes could get a little bit annoying. Sometimes they did get a little bit annoying. And so, anyway, yeah, so, you know, you had the spring-loaded things, and one thing that I didn't like about the planet key gimmick is they didn't give you anything to do with the planet key when you didn't have them plugged into the guy. And so I'd try and kind of have them half plugged in, but not enough to activate the feature. And, you know, I mean, having gimmicks that spring out when you insert a key, that's cool, but not having anything to do with the key is kind of lame, and it leads to a lot of lost keys. So this guy isn't terribly difficult to transform. You pull the legs out of the bottom, you flip out the feet. A lot of the Cybertron characters had kind of claw feet, where they would have both a front foot that folds out and a back foot. And I didn't mind that because it made them very, very stable. They've kind of backed away from that these days. And it does look better to not have the claw foot, but they also fall over a lot easier. So you know, I'm gonna throw out some love for the claw foot. Here's to you, claw feet. Thank you. So you fold the front of the jet down, and you meet up, and there's a little place where it connects here, and if you can get it to click in. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There we go. And then very similar to Powerglide in that his jets become the arms. You slide these forward, you slide those forward, and then you have these elbow caps. They kind of do a thing here. There we go. And we got this one. There we go. And then you have to get the hands out somehow. And when you flex the elbow, it kind of pushes the hands out just enough. And I feel like there's supposed to be a better way to do this. Like there's supposed to be like something that you pull, but it's been a while. You know, this guy's been in storage for a little while, and I don't remember what that is. So I'm just kind of pulling. You know, like I know that with Energon Megatron, when you slide the elbows of the robot forward, it pushes out the fists. It does something like that. But anyway, so you got this, and then you just flip the head up, and you can also, of course, put this up, and it makes kind of a backpack thing. The only thing that I do not like about this guy, like, he looks great from the front. You know, he's got great dynamics. He's very posable. You know, he's beefy, and he looks badass. He looks like a brawler. And while you know, no relation to the original Gen 1 character, he's really badass in his own right. But when you look through him at the side, let me put up the arms here. So yeah, there's this, you know, this. this you know, this. And you know, I feel like I guess the play value is that, you know, you could have a character like with a sword go and he'd be I'm dying. But yeah. Oh, also these little things pop out of the side. They're spring loaded, so there. I got them to pop out. So and you know, there's a lot of back kibble. For those of you not in the know, kibble is what they call the extra bits of vehicle that stick out on a transformer after they become a robot. Depending on how well it's designed, some transformers have a lot of kibble, that, you know, just extra pieces that don't really turn into anything. They're just there. So it's from the old commercial, kibbles and bits and bits and bits. They're extra bits. So nonetheless, you know, from most angles, he does look great, and he's, you know, this wasn't my favorite Transformers line, but it wasn't bad. The toys were kind of blocky, but at the same time they were also very tough. You know, they're very solid. I don't think that any of my Cybertron toys have broken in storage. And, you know, I don't think that any of those movie toys that I got are going to fare nearly as well. So yeah, he's, you know, this is Skyshadow. And then let's do Lugnut, because Lugnut is amazing. This is Lugnut. Lugnut is a character that was born in the animated universe. Transformers Animated was the cartoon that came out after the live-action motion pictures started, and it was dubbed animated to distinguish itself as being not live-action. It was traditional animation. I imagine that they probably used a lot of computer enhancement, but for the most part, it was cell animation, and it was actually a really good show as long as you didn't watch any of the episodes with the human villains. Pitting Autobots against cheesy-ass human villains, especially badly done human villains. I mean, some of the human villains were cringeworthy. It was bad, but nonetheless, Lugnut is a character that made the jump over into the main toy line, and look at him. He is gorgeous. He is so detailed. In fact, let me show you on the super close, and you know, unfortunately, the super close doesn't focus well on detail if I pull him away from the camera, but you can see that the details, you know, the rivets, the engines, look at that, you know, the paint detail. He is just a fantastic figure. I mean, heck, if he didn't transform into a robot, I would think that this was cool. Quentin, you have to go. Hope, you have to go. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm really glad that you guys stopped by. Thank you so much. And I imagine that we're going to wrap up pretty soon here anyway, so you're probably not going to miss much. So Lugnut transforms like he's a mess to transform. I'm just letting you know, but it's worth it. Because as cool as the plane mode is, his robot mode is just fantastic. So we have the body here. We have a little bit of back kibble here. We flip this up. We have to open this, and it does. Let's see. There's some matrix magic that has to happen here somehow. Oh, yes. Okay, so this pushes forward to reveal the head and split the chest. And I think that folds down. And then so Matt White was asking when animated air. I believe that it went from 2007 to 2009. Got a little dryness in the throat. So this folds around here, and I'm sorry that I'm not describing what I'm doing while I'm doing it. To be honest, I'm trying to remember how he goes. He is very interesting. Okay, so the hands alone are just amazing on this guy, and I'm gonna show them in just a second. That folds down, and that folds, and then yeah, we go. So here we've got the engine thing here, right? So this opens up like that, and the tip of the wing folds down like that, and then you have sort of a thumb thing. Then this twists around to make a hand. Look at that. I mean, it's an articulated hand, and then you fold down the other part of the wing here, and that allows you to create an elbow. And then the body comes forward. And Dr. Arkaville. I'm trying to remember Dr. Arkaville. Dr. Arkaville, what was that from? Oh my gosh, Dr. Arkaville from Gen 1. Well, now granted, Dr. Arkaville was Dr. Arkaville, but the villains, to Colleen, who's asking if the Transformers animated villains were as cool as Dr. Arkaville, no, they were not even as cool as Dr. Arkaville, and that is not a high bar. Although Dr. Arkaville, I have to say, when they made him into a mutant cyborg, that was kind of horrifying when I was a kid. I mean, that was badass. So yeah, he wasn't necessarily the best character on Transformers, but you know, he was still better than any of the characters on Gobots. So I think that this is him. I think that this is Lugnut. Yeah. So oh yeah, let me just straighten out the legs a little. So he is a really dynamic figure. You look at him, he's got, you know, this shockwave, you know, just a dot for an eye. He's got these long arms with claws, and he's articulated, and they kind of do this slide back and forth thing. I think that you press that and then it jets forward. Here, I'll show you that again sideways. So that, you press this and then it jets forward. That's really cool. You know, his colors are great. He's got these creepy claw feet. So yeah, Lugnut, this is a fantastic toy. This is a highlight of this era, and I'm trying to remember, was this Transformers Universe as well? I believe that this was Transformers Universe. So yeah, and so in the IDW comics, if a Transformer didn't have a face and didn't have proper hands, that was actually done as a punishment, and I forget what it was called. I know that, like, going into their memories was shadow play, but there was a different word for it. But Shockwave had, you know, this had been done to Shockwave, which is why he had the, you know, the single eye and the blaster arm. So yeah, isn't it? Okay, Scooter was awesome, but you know, well, you know, hey, the toy Scooter was a great toy, and you know, and for some reason on the cartoon they always showed his face, and on the toy the face wasn't there. It was one of the, you know, one of the things that I was willing to respect about the show is that if a character had a face in the toy, like the underside of Copter or Phytor, they would draw it in the cartoon. You know, they would just leave it the same, and I respected that. You know, it's like, okay, you know, when they would show Turbo in car mode from the underside, you could see that his face was on the underside, and I thought, you know what, I'll go with it. You know, it's at least they're being consistent. But with Scooter, they put the face on the front of the scooter. It was never there. Why did they do that? That was what was the Matt White is telling me the Emperata. Am I saying that right? Emperata? Thank you, Matt. But that was the name of the punishment where they would kind of not dehumanize, but for us it's dehumanizing a transformer. Emperata. So there is one more guy we're going to touch on here. This is Star Saber, also from the Cybertron line. You see, the Wingsaber. Star Saber is the name of the sword. Sorry, I always want to call him Star Saber. It's Wingsaber. Just like Armada Wingsaber, he was able to combine with Optimus Prime. He, of course, had a sound box, which is responsible for some of the blockiness. But yeah, he had a. Let me get a planet key here. I had a planet key. I know I had a planet key. Are you sitting on my planet key, Cat? I lost my planet key. What did I tell you about planet keys? You lose the planet keys. And you know, I haven't moved anywhere. Where did the planet key go? Huh. That's amazing. My lovely and talented assistant and wife is trying to find a planet key. He did have. Oh, thank you. So you'd insert the planet key here, and then the whole front would open up, and you know, reveal guns and stuff. So that was pretty cool. You know, as a planet key gimmick, that was actually pretty cool, and still looks kind of badass like that. You know, I mean, you know, like I see this coming at me, and it's like, oh shit, that thing's got like 1 million guns, and then it does this, and it's like, oh, double shit, because that ain't right. So thank you, Cat. The cat is trying to climb my leg with his claws. So here, Dudley wants to be an internet star. Come here, Dudley. No, don't do that. You get stuck. So Dudley still has his. So here's Dudley. There's Dudley. Dudley desperately wanted to get my attention because he says I've been doing this for too long. And now we're going to try and pick up Wingsaber, and now Dudley went away. So yeah, Wingsaber in his jet mode, and then we just do a little flippy and turn the tails into feet, and yeah, we're gonna. Let's go ahead and rotate these around. There we go. And Wingsaber had machine guns for hands, but you see they gave him 4 longer digits and then 1 kind of thumb digit. So he's still got sort of hands. He's like Edward shoot you with his hands. That's his name. Edward shoot you with his hands. I'm sorry for that. And then you take this whole thing. Like I said, Cybertron toys did have a lot of back kibble, and you know, he was no exception. And there was the head here. And then this would close up in front of his chest. There we go. And then there were some guns there. And so this was Wingsaber. And you know, he was a decent toy, not super posable around the arms, but you know, you could get them to do stuff like this, and so he was still, you know, I would say that posability was fair, you know, with the limitations that the wings created. And then he also was able to combine with Cybertron Prime. Do I need to show that? I don't think that anybody needs to see that. You know, if we do something about Cybertron Prime, which is one of my favorite Optimus Primes, then I'll pull out Wingsaber again and we'll show you him attached to Prime. But I think that we're there. I mean, we've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes, and I've had a lot of fun showing off my toys, and so yeah, I think that's it. This seems to be a thing. So please keep your eyes open. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I don't do a lot of social networking, and I know that I need to. I'll figure that out one of these days, but right now it really seems like work. But nonetheless, Pixel's Twitter does always announce these things that we're doing, so keep an eye there. Thank you, everyone. Seriously, it means so much to me that each and every one of you log in, and you guys are the ones that make this fun. You know, if I was just talking into a camera and I didn't get any feedback, it would be very lonely and probably a little sad. So thank you so much, and you know, thank you for commenting and talking about my cat, Altiston. Did I even welcome Altiston? I don't know. Thank you for coming, Alstinton. I can't say it. That was AJ Stinson. I think I've had just a little bit too much apple juice, Scottish apple juice. But anyway, AJ, thank you for coming, and thank you everyone for coming, because you guys are great. You're so much fun. I could not ask for a better group of people to come and join me on these things. So thank you for that. So I think that's it, because YouTube always likes to cut off the ends of videos. Then I'm gonna go to the end screen, and you're gonna keep hearing music, and maybe I'll yammer on a little bit, but it's gonna be nothing important. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Until next week. Oh. For some reason, my end screen is not big enough, but I can fix that. And everybody can watch me fix it. Look at that. Look at that. If I put my pointer on it, you can see the pointer dance around. Look at that. Look at that. We're gonna let this go for at least another minute, because YouTube wants to cut off the end. Look at that. Look at that. Just wait until we do a live stream all about sea spray. Look at that. Look at that.